Good Pizza, Great Pizza is a dream job simulator. And when I say dream job, I actually mean it's a fantasy. When you were a little kid, did you ever pretend you had a job? Like, I used to pretend I ran a horse ranch because, horse girl apparently. But I know people who pretended that they ran a grocery store. I know people who pretended that they were construction workers. It's just something you did as a kid. You would see someone having a job in real life as an adult, and you would imagine what that would be like. But it's a fantasy, right? Actually, running a pizza place is hard. It's a low profit, high volume kind of business, which means you're pumping out pizzas at low cost, hoping you can get enough business walking through the door to make any kind of profit. Ovens alone can be over $10K each, and that's lowballing it. And general maintenance of a restaurant can be a nightmare. You've got marketing, you've got social media, Google reviews, HR department, hiring, firing, pest control. It's really a tough business. But Good Pizza, Great Pizza doesn't have that problem. Oh, sure, you gotta click a button to repair stuff in your store, but starting out you only have 5 customers and about that many pizzas to make. As the game progresses, you get tools to make pizza creation easier and faster, so there's no terrible difficulty curve to hit like other cooking games. I love the concept of a cooking game, but I always get stressed playing cooking games. The single player ones tend to have way too many items to make, and it gets harder and harder instead of easier and easier. And don't get me started on multiplayer cooking games. I don't recreationally try to let people down, and that's what a cooking game does for me. Sorry I burnt the burger, friends. That's just, you're playing with an idiot. So when I originally found this game, I was like, oh, I'll just play it as a Let's Play, and I maybe was gonna put it into an indie game roundup, but then something kind of interesting happened. Every day, during the weekday, before I went to work, I would play about 20 minutes of Good Pizza, Great Pizza. Living this fantasy of having a pizza shop that could never exist in real life, simply making pizzas, talking to customers helped my brain wake up, and it made me feel capable, so I can go into my job and do a good job. So let's break down why I like this game so much, shall we? Good Pizza, Great Pizza is like opening a pizza shop down the street from Bob's Burgers. Just look at the humor and art style. It's very much on par with that lovely little show. It has a sweetness to it, an innocence to it, in a way that I can just love and fall into so easily. Don't get me wrong, I've played a couple of those heckin' humor games like this one and that one, but this doesn't have any slyness to it. It really is just here to be genuine and kind and make you feel like you could be a good person. It really isn't trying to be anything but a sloppy pizza simulator with a touch of weirdness thrown in. The plot is fairly simple. You want to open a pizza place, but unfortunately you opened one across the street from another pizza place. Of course, that owner is a total jerk, and he's gonna bully you. He's gonna bully you so hard, he's gonna teach you how to make a pizza in the tutorial. You get to physically put on the sauce, the cheese, the toppings, and then you put it in the oven. There's part of you that kinda knows that you're gonna win him over someday, but for now, it's just tutorial making. Can you put on sauce? Can you put on cheese? Can you put it in the oven? The other thing you learn very quickly is that for some reason, this town you moved in is obsessed with pizza. How obsessed, you might ask? Well, they have a pizza-centric news show that you can watch every morning, and pizza events like Mushroom Day or Sausage Time. Okay, you've passed the tutorial. Now it's time to help out some customers and make them some pizzas. These customers are randomly generated and woo boy, do they got some wacky requests. When a customer asked for vegan pizza, I made sure to not include cheese, and I was delighted to find out that I had actually made it correctly. Because vegetarian is not vegan, Steve. Sometimes a customer will say something kind of off the walls, and in that case you can ask them what to get a clear answer of what they want on that pizza. It might make their happy meter go down a little bit, but it's worth it. This is where we see the game mechanics come in. Like any cooking game, faster is better, but don't get too obsessed with that happy meter. As soon as you take your order, it'll start ticking down. And anything from 70% to 80% happiness is pretty much what you get no matter what. When I first started playing this game, I thought everything needed to be precise, fast, and cut perfectly. But But this is called good pizza, great pizza. This isn't called perfect pizza. So that's not what this game asks of you. Don't get me wrong, of course you'll get more tips if you do amazing, but this game wants you to know that good enough is actually great. For example, I always have a hard time remembering not to cut a pizza if a customer asks, but I mean, the pizza cutter is sitting right there. And I've been cutting all the other pizzas, so it takes a lot of restraint and memory and thoughts to not cut it. But the cool news is that even if I make that mistake, I don't go out of business. I still get paid. And that comes to a lesson that I hope everyone learns one day. Good is good enough. Plus, later on, there's upgrades, like you can have the sauce or toppings automatically added. And when you first start this game, they actually show you a little outline where to put the toppings or how to cut the pizza. I had actually paid for the little toppings thing, and I don't need it anymore. But I was so concerned about not putting the toppings in the right place. It just doesn't matter. You just make a good pizza and people will pay you for it. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the cool interactions I had with customers. Did I mention before that these are all randomly generated? So if you start a day and then you end before it saves, the next time you go into the day, except for the main plot stuff, you'll get random people coming in asking for random pizzas. There was this one kid who only had $5 and I made him a pizza anyway. And then he came back the next day and his mom gave me a 20. There was a taste tester that appeared and he was kind of weird and distant. And then he showed up on the TV the next day and he loved the pizza I made for him, so it was all okay. And then there's this lady, she said ding dong because she wanted a bell pepper pizza. Get it? Because bells make ding dong noises? I just thought that was cute. Then there's folks who come in and ask for a free pizza because they don't have any money to feed themselves. If you say yes, you can decide what kind of pizza to make them. I usually take the chance to get a little creative and give them something that I don't normally get to make. Later on, if they get back on their feet, they might pay you back. There's one homeless guy who comes in a lot and seems to be the game's unofficial mascot. And he's just this nice dude who comes in and asks for a pizza and is very happy when you make him one. If you keep making him pizzas, he apparently lets the bears free from a zoo and literally destroys your competitor, launching you into Act 2. Again, this is really where it goes into fantasy territory. Obviously, I don't want anyone to release bears from the zoo, and I also don't want bears eating pizza. I feel like that's a bad idea. But when you're a little kid, that sounds kind of funny. In this game, you can help people less fortunate than you, and usually good things will come to you later, even if that's not what you should expect in the real world. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go do good things in the real world, but as an adult, you know you shouldn't expect good things to come back to you just because you did something nice. The positive side of having these characters in the game is that, I don't know, maybe it'll spark folks to be more generous with those who have less and see them with more kindness, see them as people, and I don't think that's asking too much. Moving on, this game has real-time events that take place every other month or so. I play the Easter one where you can go do it in a little Easter egg hunt and it's very fun. And there's a Mother's Day one where you help your rival impress his mother. They're both super sweet and optional, and they have pretty in-game items that you can get during that event. Does that sound like a mobile game to you? Well, that's because Good Pizza, Great Pizza is a mobile game. Yeah, apparently it's been out since like 2018 on phones, and it only showed up recently on Steam and Switch, and this is the first time I've heard of it because I don't really play that many mobile games. But what you should know is that the mobile is free, so if you don't want to pay $10 on Steam for this game, you can go play it on the mobile. And the cool thing is that if you have a tablet, you can actually like make the pizza with your fingers and stuff, so that kind of sounds fun. There's plenty of reviews that felt like charging money for a free mobile game on Steam wasn't fair, but whatever, I'm fine with it. There's 4 chapters of gameplay, and each chapter can take 3 to 4 hours in-game to complete. So to me, that's not bad for a $10 video game. But like I said, if that bothers you, please go get it for free on mobile. And just like a mobile game, when the real-time event is over, the only way you can get those cosmetic items is with a little money. You can get all of them for way cheaper than, say, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. But if cosmetic DLC grinds your gears, it would be good for you to be aware of that. And nothing that you can buy with real money in this game affects your gameplay. You can play it just base game with just the free events and be totally happy. You can also earn diamonds, quote unquote, with achievements in this game, and these can buy you some cosmetic items, but the actual in-game money is hard to come by. I guess that's the one element that makes this game more true to life than fantasy. It takes years to make money running any business, so making only $100 at the end of a night is pretty par for the course when you first start out. You can use this money to buy upgrades, do repairs, or get those cool cosmetic items that make you so happy. My pizza place is like a little cat cafe. There's a lot of cosmetic items that you can get without spending any real world money, and to reiterate, you absolutely do not need to get any of the DLC to enjoy this game. As for tips on spending your in-game money, I really suggest buying more ingredients when you can, since sometimes folks will come in and ask for something you don't have and leave disappointed. The game also lets you grow an eggplant for pizza in this cute little flower pot, and apparently later you get a whole garden. From there, I suggest getting upgrades that suit you personally, like I'm old, I like making pizzas slow, so this perk helps me a lot, and you should always keep an eye on repairs in case there's any burglars running around. Okay, so we've gotten this far into the video and I haven't even really talked about the actual act of making pizza. Okay, so if you're older like me, over the age of 30, you might suffer from sad risks from playing this game. That's why I only played about 15 to 20 minutes at a time. But the game seems to be totally fine with that. It's easy to pick up where you were the day or even week before, and the gameplay is extremely simple. Like, look how easy it is. You put the sauce on, you put the cheese on, ooh, toppings, 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 put it in the oven, slice it up, she's good to go. That said, I do remember reading reviews when I first picked up this game about people complaining about vegetarian pizzas, and I didn't understand at first. But guess what? Now I hate them too. Look at all these toppings I gotta put on. And while the game is extremely generous to you about what pizzas you can make to satisfy people, you can technically fail out of this game. I have accidentally made a pizza so bad, the game asked me to restart the day. And I think you can also run out of money if you keep doing small mistakes on people's pizza. But I believe in you. Look, this game is not gonna ask you to play co-op with your buds or make 1,000 different foods. It's just pizza, and you'll do amazing.